Welcome to the God Put Me Up On Game podcast with Kristen R. Harris, where God shares all the good game because he wants you to win. This is the podcast for winners. Hey winners, what's going on? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for coming down to the winner circle for another episode of that good game. You already know the drill. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for rocking with the podcast all of 2020. This has been a crazy year to say the least, but I thank you guys so much. And I pray that this podcast has helped you to navigate the craziness and the unexpectedness and just the wild ride that we have been on for 2020. I pray that each time you have come down to the winner circle, you have been able to leave with some of that good game. And I pray that it has inspired you. It has educated you, informed you, just kept you motivated and just helped you to develop even a stronger prayer life and a stronger connection to God and help you to hear him for yourself. Remember, my goal is not to be your liaison. You have a direct connection to the Lord himself. And so I pray that this podcast, God Put Me Up On Game, and the winner circle and all this good game has encouraged and empowered you to really take your relationship with him to the next level. So with that, I have to say, I have some bittersweet news. It's bitter because today is the last episode of season 2. We're finished, y'all. We are finished, but we will be back for season 3. You know I'll be back. I love coming down to the winner circle and hanging with you guys. So I'll be back. I'm thinking late January, early February. I don't have the exact date at the moment, but your girl needs a break. If you guys have realized at this point, I have not been here every single week because, again, 2020. I don't have to explain. It's just been 2020 and just the way that this year has gone. And I'll probably get into that a little later when I get into the good game. But I will be back. I'll be back in January, February. In the meantime, listen, I'm sure you haven't listened to all the episodes. And if you have, listen, I challenge, if you're listening to this episode right now and you have listened to I don't even know how many episodes it is at this point. I think this may be number 83 or 84. If you've listened to all 83 episodes, plus I think there's like 7 or 8 bonus episodes. If you've listened to every single one and you can honestly say that, I want you to slide in my DM on Instagram. Okay? No, I'm serious now. I want you to slide in my DM and I want you to tell me that. And I will send you something special. Now, this is the honor system, y'all. And I know God. I know him. That's me and him. We real tight. Okay. So he will let me know if you are lying. But if you have listened to every single episode, I want you to let me know. Slide in my DM and I will send you something special. This is only valid until December 31st. So don't try to binge listen after December 31st and then hit me up in my DM. This is only for those who have actively listened. And you know what? I may even ask you a question. There may be a quiz so I can see if you actually listen. But yeah, that offer stands for anyone who has listened to all the episodes. I want to just send you something special because I appreciate you. There are so many things that you can be doing with your time. And I'm just honored and humbled that you decide to spend it with me. Now, with that, those of you who did not get a chance to listen to all the episodes, I'm not forgetting about you. I got something special for you, too. You know what I'm giving you? The opportunity to go back and catch up. So with this break, you can go back and binge listen to any episodes that you have missed. I wanted to do something special. I was going to share the top People's Choice episodes, and that's just based on the number of listens that they received. And I was going to share my top episodes. I decided not to share my top episodes because it was so hard. I could not really narrow it down to 3. I love every single episode I get on here and do because it's just fresh revelation from the Lord, and I could not narrow it down. So I just decided to go with the top 3 people choices. And so number 1, and this is only for season 2. This is not overall for the podcast. This is just for season 2. But number 1 is episode number 73, Giving Birth to Purpose. That was actually a replay. Those of you who've been around the Winter Circle for a while, you know that around July, I took a brief vacation and I played back some episodes that I had appeared on other people's podcasts. And so I am so delighted that number 1 for the People's Choice for season 2 is actually episode number 73, Giving Birth to Purpose with Lene Urban. That was when I appeared on her podcast. If you did not catch that episode, you want to go back. So many gems dropped. It's really about figuring out why you're here and making sure that you wake up every day and live life on purpose. Number 2 for this season, Multiple Streams Form Rivers. That was episode number 78. I was not surprised at all that was in the top 3. And I mean, that got some spins out here. You guys listen to that. I can tell that you shared it. You shared that good game. And I'm always here for you guys to share it. That episode was all about, of course, when you desire to have multiple streams of revenue, understanding that those multiple streams form rivers. I'm actually going to go back and listen to that episode when I get some time because, man, God was speaking, okay? Again, it's not me talking on this microphone. It's never me. It's always God dropping that good game. So he putting me up on game as he's putting you up on game as well. And then, of course, number 3 for the top 3 for the People's Choice of season 2 would be Palm Trees and Pigeons. That's episode number 74. That's actually one of my favorites. There was so much good game dropped in that episode, guys. If you did not listen to Palm Trees and Pigeons, or even if you did, I think that's a great episode to go back and listen to as you prepare for what you are looking for in 2021. And I just want to shout out this season. We had several guests on and they were all amazing. So shout out to CJ and Kim of the Too Dope to Be Broke podcast. Congratulations to Kim. If you guys listen to that podcast episode, you know that one was off the chain. And Kim just had a set of twins. So congratulations, Kim, to you. We had my pastor, Pastor Sam Hamster. He came on and it was so interesting. The episode that we recorded, you guys go back and listen to that. That was a great one too. It's Jesus for Black People. We recorded that episode a week before all of the things broke out around George Floyd. And I had no idea when I scheduled that episode that it would be coming out the day after, or it may have been the day of all of the everything breaking out around the country. And so I was kind of apprehensive, but then I went ahead and released it because I trust that God knew exactly what was going to be coming. So it was a very timely message. Go check that out. We had Coretta Collins on, my line sister and an amazing nurse practitioner. She dropped some good game. You want to check that out. I had my babies on this season, Charisma, Genesis, and Kai. That was such a fun episode. I also had Jonathan J. Emmanuel, guys. If you missed that episode, you want to go check out Kingdom Principles because that boy is on fire. And lastly, I think it was the very last episode that aired on here was with Lisa, and you want to go listen to Lisa's episode. Lisa Tate Stevenson. She is a survivor of 9/11. If you did not listen to that episode, don't let the fact that it was an hour long deter you because it was so much rich game, and just hearing her story is, it's just amazing. So you want to go check that out. So shout out to all of my guests this season, all of the game changers who came on the podcast. I love you all so much, and you help to spread the good game. So thank you. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the good game for today, our last episode of the season. You know, that kind of makes me sad because I love hanging out with you guys each week. But all good things have to come to an end, or just a pause for a moment, right? So this game for today, this is right along with the theme of everything that I've done this entire season. You guys know when I had my 15-year anniversary, I had 15 lessons from 15 years. Just my 40th birthday just passed. I gave you 40 nuggets a game. Well, I believe that 2020 has taught us a lot. If you didn't learn anything this year, I'm going to have to say, why on earth are you here? Because this year has taught us things. Now, I'm not one of those people who feels like you should have come out with a business, or you should have come out better and you should have been doing this or doing that. I'm not here to judge any of that. The mere fact that you are still here is enough, okay? Because staying alive and sane, that's why I kept signing off this season, stay safe and stay sane, because staying safe and staying sane was enough. So if you have done that, congratulations. Praise the Lord. I'm just happy that you are here. But I do believe that this year should have taught you something. And so I want to share just 20 lessons that I've picked up over 2020. Oh, wait a minute. Before I get into this good game, I forgot to plug my new journal. God put me up on game, the prayer journal. If you have not pre-ordered your prayer journal, you want to go ahead and get it. Thanks to all of you all who have already ordered. You guys have blown my mind. So thank you so much for supporting. I can't wait to get this journal in your hands. This is a game changer, guys. I have literally shared excerpts from my own journals over the years. And honestly, this is how a lot of the things that you hear on this podcast, when I'm sharing the good game with you, it's because God is speaking to me in the pages of this journal. And so this is really great for those of you who may feel like you can't hear God, or how does everyone else have these immaculate conversations with him and I can't figure out how to even hear his voice. I'm literally teaching you how to journal and how to hear from God in this journal. And I'm opening up some of the most intimate pieces of my own story in this journal. And so I really encourage you to get it. You can find it at bit.ly/GPMUOG prayer, but I'll put the link in the show notes. And if you follow me on any social media channels, you can find the link. If you follow me on Instagram, you can click right into my bio and it'll take you to pre-order your journal. But you want to make sure that you get that journal in your hands, guys. And in 2021, when we come back for season 3, I will actually have a live chat that I will sit down and someone will actually be interviewing me and asking me questions about this journal and really getting all up in my business, y'all. So I want you to have the journal in your hands so that you can understand exactly what we're talking about and really get into that conversation. Okay. So I wanted to go back to that really quickly before I forgot. Now let's get into this good game. So yes, 2020 should have taught us some lessons. And so I have 20 things that I have learned this year. And some of these may be repetitive from my 40 lessons that I learned for my 40th birthday. But I just understand that this year should have taught you something, okay? And so these are the things that it taught me, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know if this list resonates with you, or if there's other things that did not make it onto this list, because let me tell you, I could have been writing this list forever. It's really beyond 20 things, but again, I'm just doing 20 for 20 because, hey, this just goes with the theme, right? So number 1, enjoy your space. Because we've had to be home, locked in, and just spending more time in our space, this has really taught me to enjoy my space. And I have learned how to just enjoy being at home. I'm a person who loves to be out in the streets, who loves to be on the scene and around people. I have a new found introvertedness. I don't even know if that's a word, but I have a newfound sense of just being alone and being with myself and just spending time with my family. So it has really taught me just how to enjoy my space and enjoy myself. Number 2, it has taught me to enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment and stop waiting for what's next. It's so funny. This one was actually added to the list because I was talking to my husband one day and I was just kind of looking at him and I wasn't saying much. I just staring at him and he's like, "What's wrong with you? What's going on?" I said, "Nothing. I'm just enjoying the moment." This year has really taught me how to slow down and enjoy the moment and stop just waiting for what's next. And that's even, just beyond, those small moments. But sometimes we just get so caught up in trying to figure out, how do we get to the next thing? God, what's next? What's next? Where are you taking me next? What will I be doing next? Who will I meet next? And God is like, I just need you to worry about this moment right here. Just relish in this moment. Enjoy this moment. Be okay with living in the present, right? And so I really want to encourage you. And I know last season we had Caprice on, Coach Caprice. If you did not hear her episode, one of the things that she shared on there, and I think it's so profound, is that, she prayed to God and asked him to help her stop worrying about what's next. Like, he already has the future in his hands and he knows what's coming. So it has really taught me to enjoy the moment. Number 3, this year has taught me to make it special for the people closest to me. And I would even go further to say for the people who live with me. And let me explain what I mean by this. So, this Christmas, my kids, if you ask them, they will tell you I have like gone all out and done much more than I normally do in terms of decorations for Christmas. And it really was birthed from a place where I realized that I have to do more for the people who actually live here. I think sometimes we get caught up in putting on these facades for people outside. And again, whenever I give you an example, it's far beyond the example that I'm giving you. So this is not just about Christmas decorations, but it's about just really seeing the people that you live with and understanding that they are the most important. The people who are your loved ones and your family, they are the most important. And so, there are times when I'm like, if I know I'm having an event or something, or I'm doing something at my home, that I may go all out and do all this extra decorating. But this year I just was extra just because I'm being extra for the people who live here. I'm showing up for them. And so this year has really taught me that. Going right into that, number 4 was this year has taught me to see people. And I think I shared that in my list of 40 for my 40th birthday, but it really has enabled me to just stop and see people. What are they dealing with? What are they going through? Everyone is fighting some type of battle. And sometimes we get so busy just moving and shaking that we're not even able to see that. So it has really taught me just to pause and to see people, to when people drop into my spirit, to pick up the phone and call them, to pray for them if God lays it on my heart, and not to be so busy and caught up doing other things that I miss the most important thing to God, and that's his people. Staying right in that vein is number 5, see things. This year has really opened my eyes to all the beauty of God's creation. I actually shared a post on social media after my birthday celebration was all over, and I shared like the highlights of my November. And one of them was like going out for a walk and just seeing the beauty of the trees in the fall. This year has really just forced me to stop and just enjoy all of the simple things that we sometimes take for granted during the summer. I just love to see beautiful flowers this entire summer that maybe I walked past before, or I haven't been able to travel, obviously, but just seeing the beauty of God's creation, even in my neighborhood or in the places that are local, or even not even things that God created, but man-made creations. It just allowed me just to pause and to see those things. Number 6, I already knew this, but this year more than ever, I realized how extremely crucial self-care is to my overall well-being. And again, I can't remember if I shared this in my 40 list, but I just realized and did the things that made me feel good inside. So for me, that's having a dance party. It's closing the door to my bedroom and standing in front of my mirror, turning up my music really loud and just dancing. That brought me so much peace, and it cleared my mind and it made me free. Just doing the things that made me feel good inside. Okay. Number 7, I learned this year that I really need to listen more. I don't listen as well as I thought I did. So I've really been working on actively listening. And I think even with this new app, this new social media app, shout out to those of you who are on Clubhouse, come find me, Kristen R. Harris. You can find me everywhere as Kristen R. Harris, but I'm on that app and just trying to just sit in a room and listen to people just speak, and have a conversation. I realized, Kristen, you're not the best listener because I can get distracted really easily. So I've been actively working on that. Number 8, I learned this year that, again, and I probably knew this already, but it was reinforced this year, that miracles come in different forms. So this year, I've really been able to appreciate just the miracle of being safe, like being safe and being healthy and not getting sick and just being here. That's a miracle in itself, right? We're in the midst of a global pandemic. Hundreds of thousands of people have died just here in the United States. Okay. So millions across the world have perished, and just being here is a miracle in itself. And so sometimes we overlook those small things because we want, and it's not even small, but it's seemingly small because we're focused on the big lightnings from the sky or things that come with a huge roar. But miracles come in so many different forms. Number 9, this is so important. And again, I knew this, and I'm going to stop prefacing it with that because I probably knew everything on this list, but this year really reinforced it and drove it home for me. But number 9 is I cannot afford to skip out on my time with God. As it says in Matthew 6, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. This year has really amplified how important it is for me to spend that time with God in the morning before I get my day started. On the days that I did not do that, I realized how I was just off balance, or when something came to knock me off my feet, I was not prepared. I was not prepared. And it kind of swept me off my feet because I was not grounded in his word. And so just spending that time this year has been of the utmost importance. Number 10, I said this all the time. There's even a whole episode dedicated to consistency breeds success. But I want to talk about this year how I learned that inconsistency truly breeds frustration. This year was one of those years where I sometimes allowed what was going on around me or even inside of me to stop my consistency. And I saw that frustration begin to well up because I was not seeing the results and the successes in areas where I was not consistent. So I was really exposed to the effects of being inconsistent and how that truly breeds frustration. Number 11, even in the worst of times, we can still find the best of times. I know a lot of people will say that 2020 has been one of the worst years of their lives. I cannot make that declaration because it was actually pretty darn good to me. And I don't say that to diminish any pain that anyone has felt this year, but it just that wasn't my testimony. This year has actually been really great and full of blessings and full of favor. But even with all of the great things that I experienced, I do understand and recognize that there's a lot of pain around me. And so even in the worst of times, I've learned that you can find the best of times. And I was able to just really sit down and count my blessings and be super grateful for my family and for my friends and for the connections that I have and for the work that I get to do and the purpose that I get to put out into the earth and share. And it was just so beautiful to really relish in those things this year. Number 12, you don't get to your next until you've mastered your now. That was a big one for me this year. And of course, I knew it already. But this year, I really walked that thing out. You do not get to your next until you master your now. And one of the examples that I feel like God really drove this home with me and gave me an aha moment. As you guys, those of you who follow me on social media, then you may have seen that I actually was blessed with a new car for my birthday. My husband bought me a car, and I have been driving my same car for, I think, 10 years now. It may even be 11 years. And this year, actually, back in, I want to say maybe July or August, I decided that enough was enough. I needed to get my car detailed because it was just filthy on the inside. And so I went and invested the money and time, because it took hours, but I was lucky enough to find a detailer who came to my home, a mobile detailer, and he cleans it in my driveway. And this man talked about my car. He was like, what happened to this car? He's like, you're driving a luxury vehicle, and why does it look like this? I mean, he was fussing at me, and I'm thinking, dude, I paid you, just clean my car, right? But he did an amazing job. It took about 6 or 7 hours, maybe even 8, but he did an amazing job. And I just felt in that moment that I needed to do that. I felt that God was urging me, as if he was saying to me, you're worried about the next, but you're not even stewarding the now. And that just really resonated with me and spoke volumes to me. And so I truly believe it was the day after I received my car. I was sitting here and I thought back to that. And God said, see what happens when you steward your now, then you can go to your next. Sometimes and that goes back to number 2 that I said, we're so busy trying to get to the next that we're not even stewarding the now. And whatever that looks like for you, you may be trying to get to the next level in business or the next level in a relationship, but what are you doing with the now before you get to the next? Number 13, procrastination will make me do 3 days worth of work in 30 minutes or 30 minutes of work in 3 days. Let me say that again. Procrastination will make me do 3 days worth of work in 30 minutes or 30 minutes of work in 3 days. And I have to be honest. I have been a procrastinator all my life, and I've hid under the guise of I can't produce until the last minute. Well, this year, procrastination came back to kick me in my butt. When I tell you procrastination cost me opportunities, it cost me money, it cost me time, I realized that I cannot live my life like that. Where God has taken me requires something different. I've been able to hide behind that excuse that I can't produce until the last minute. But this year, God's like, you can't do that anymore, because you're literally spending 3 days doing 30 minutes worth of work, or you're waiting until the last minute. And so now that you waited until the last minute, you got to cram 3 days worth of work into 30 minutes. God is not pleased with that. So that's not even being a great steward of my time. Number 14, I realized that I don't like to work on Saturdays, even as an entrepreneur. And I hear that, a lot of times, people are like, you got a grind season. This year, I realized I don't like to work on the weekends. And as a matter of fact, this is the reason I became an entrepreneur, because I wanted to have flexibility. I wanted to control my schedule. I wanted to be able to be present for the things that I wanted to be able to be present for. And so I had to put down that whole mentality, but it goes back to procrastination, because oftentimes when I found myself working on Saturdays, it's because I did not do what I was supposed to do Monday through Friday. I was not a good steward of my time. I procrastinated. And so on Saturday, I had to squeeze in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's worth of work on Saturday. So I'm just speaking to those of you who have decided to leap into entrepreneurship, to start that business. Remember why you did it. And so for me, I have an entirely new definition of wealth this year. Before now, I think I've associated wealth with money, and I do think that money is a part of wealth, but for me, wealth is freedom. It's flexibility. It's the option of saying, for me, that this Friday, it's my last day of work, and I'm not coming back to work until after the new year. That's why I became an entrepreneur, because I wanted to make those decisions. It's me saying I'd rather spend time with my children while they're on Christmas break, as opposed to being bogged down with work. That's why I chose this life, because I wanted to be in control of things like that. And so I realized this year, I don't want to work on the weekends. That's not a part of who I am. Number 15, I'm only making it with the Lord, y'all. Again, that's not new information to me, but this year it was amplified. This has been a crazy year, y'all. I would not have made it without God. I would not be safe. I would not be sane without his help. Number 16, I don't know all that God has placed in me yet. As dope as I am, and I say that as humbly as possible, as dope as I am, this isn't even it. Like, there's more. This year, God has exposed to me gifts and talents that he put inside of me that I had no idea that I even possessed. There's still untapped potential inside of me. And again, the goal is to die empty, y'all. And so the way that you die empty is that you allow him to use you. As long as you continue to use what you have, he continues to show you everything that he has placed down inside of you. Number 17, I learned this year to trust the gift giver and the gift will work. I think just even going back to, I don't know everything that I have inside of me. As he began to reveal these gifts to me, there were some things that I was like, God, you want me to do what? This year, God, and well, let me say it like this. The end of last year and this year, God has really pushed me into the use of my prophetic gifts. I don't know if you guys have noticed on this podcast, but if you've been around since season 1, you probably have noticed a shift even in the way that I share things and the way that God is speaking through me. And this year, he really launched me out into the deep fast. I was like, okay, God, hold on now. I thought this was going to be a slow and steady ride. And he's like, no, this is the accelerator. This is the fast lane, the fast paced lane. And I got some stuff for you to do. And there were times that I was like, God, I don't know if I can do this. And he had to constantly remind me, don't put your trust in the gift. Because putting your trust in the gift is essentially putting your trust in yourself. Trust me, I'm the gift giver. And that even goes to those of you who spend so much time flourishing and cultivating the gift that you forget about the gift giver. I'm not telling you not to sharpen your gift because that's of the utmost importance, but don't you dare forget the gift giver because that's who gives you the power to carry out the gift. Number 18. Again, I say this in the most humble way possible, but sometimes you got to slide your credentials across the table. And let me say this. I'm very prayerful about when I have to do it. I take it to God. So if I slide my credentials across the table and I got to turn my cocky up, that's what this young lady I know, BB Robinson, she says it all the time, turn your cocky up. If I have to turn my cocky up and slide my credentials across the table, I've already been in prayer about it. God has released me to do so because I want to remain in a seat of humility, right? But every now and then you got to slide your credentials across the table. And I've had to do it a couple of times this year because people will try to play you, especially when they know you know Jesus. I don't know why people think that because you know Jesus, that equates to you can play me. That's not what that means, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, that couldn't be the furthest from the truth because I am walking with Jesus. That's how you cannot play me. One, because my discernment is off the chain. So I'm able to see your motives. I'm able to see your heart. I'm able to see what you don't say. So you don't even get the opportunity to play me. And then the second part of that is he don't play about me. He don't play about his children, right? So when you trying to play me, remember, he doesn't play about me. And so every now and then you got to slide your credentials across the table in the most humble way possible. People should not be trying to play you, taking advantage of you, undervaluing you, not paying you your worth just because they feel like you know Jesus. Now, sometimes you got to remind them that, you know, the Jesus that you serve, he flipped over tables. Okay. So he ain't no punk. Number 19. This is funny. I wrote, I can fit a size 12 pants like I did in college if I engage God in hard work. I haven't worn a size 12 probably since my freshman year of college. But here it is in 2020. And I even had a good girlfriend tell me, I've been knowing you over 20 something years. And she's like, you look the youngest and the best that I've ever seen you. And she's like, I don't mean that to say that you ever looked bad, but you just look really amazing. And so I realized this year, the point of that is that I can do anything with God and hard work. I had to engage God. People have seen my weight loss journey and my fitness journey. And if you haven't, go check it out on Instagram. I have a side-by-side picture that will blow your mind. And I didn't even realize I was that big. It's crazy how you can see things in pictures that you missed while you're living right in the midst of it. Sometimes you don't see how bad things were until you're out of them. That's some game for somebody. That's free, y'all. I didn't even have that in my notes. But sometimes you don't see how bad a situation is until you're on the other side of it. I realized that I could not have done that without the help of God, right? So basically this translates to I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And number 20, be gracious to yourself. If I haven't learned anything else this season, I have learned that I have to extend myself some grace. I encourage you to extend yourself some grace. You guys, this has been a tumultuous year. This is enough to make anybody go cray cray. But extend yourself some grace. And let me tell you, I had to even extend myself some grace as it pertains to this podcast. As I said at the beginning, I realized I did not come on here consistently every single week like I normally had in the past for season 1. But it's because life has just been different this year. My children are all home. Some days my husband was home. He does work outside the home, but some days he was here. Just things that normally would not have been in the front seat were in the front seat of my life. Priorities really shifted during the day in my life. And so it caused a ripple effect. Even, launching this publishing company and having so many authors that I was working with and helping them to realize their dreams, like different things were happening in my life. And just last week, I said to myself, because I was walking down the steps in my house and I said, girl, you missed the podcast this week because there was no episode last week. And I said that to myself and I was like, oh my goodness, how did you do that? But then I said, you know what? You know how you did that? Because you are keeping kids alive, keeping them sane, because I'm parenting 2 teenagers. That is more than a notion in itself. I'm parenting 2 teenagers, and then I have the 8-year-old. I have all girls. I'm dealing with my husband and the demands of his life. He's in school full time. He's in school part time. He's working full time, and he has all of these other responsibilities and things on his plate. And I'm trying to be a support to him. Not to mention, I'm running my own businesses. I'm trying to keep myself sane, stay working out. It's a lot. And God said, give yourself the same grace I give you. Extend that grace to yourself. And so I want to say to all of you all who are listening, extend yourself some grace. It is more than enough to say that you just made it out. You made it out of 2020. Congratulations. I don't expect anything more. I don't. Anything else is a bonus. So if you've done anything else this entire year, congratulations and kudos to you. But if you have not, you have still done enough. And I salute you for making it out safely and with your mind intact. And I wanted to give you number 21. I had this. This is just a bonus. It was only supposed to be 20, but this was a bonus. And I want to share with you, flow doesn't have to be forced. When it's from God, it flows. When it's not, you force it. I added this just at the last minute because just yesterday I had an opportunity to kind of force something that obviously was not meant for me because it was not flowing. And I had to pause for a moment and I said, God, should I really be doing this? And he said, no. Because when it's from me, you don't have to force it. It's just going to flow naturally. So I just wanted to leave that bonus with you guys. Listen, y'all, this has been an amazing 2020. Regardless of everything that has taken place, you are still here. You are still alive. If you can hear my voice, you are beyond blessed. And I praise God for that. I pray that as you begin to embark on another journey in 2021, that if this year was not the best for you, that it gets greater. God has promised that if you are in a place and you have suffered, that he is going to strengthen and establish you. That's in, I believe, in 1 Peter 5:10, if I'm not mistaken. Go and meditate on that word. Go and meditate on that and claim that word as yourself, so that even if 2020 was a year of suffering for you, 2021, he's going to strengthen and uphold and establish you. And I just pray that you hold on and you keep pushing, and you do not allow the enemy to make you believe that it's going to be like this always. Greater is coming. It gets greater later. That's one of my favorite things to say. It gets greater later. The best is yet to come. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what the Son of Man has in store for you. So I just pray that you are tenacious and steadfast and diligent to stand. And when you've done all that you can to stand therefore, and know that God is fighting on your behalf, guys. I love you all so, so, so much. You have no idea. I don't even know you. I don't even know what you look like, but I feel your spirits, and know that I pray for you guys. And I'm cheering for you. I'm rooting for you. This is the winner circle, y'all. We win over here. And sometimes, let me just say this. Thank you, Lord. Sometimes, even as winners, you have a losing season. And maybe you feel like you've lost this season. But understand that when you got a winner spirit, that's something that nobody can break. And so you got the Holy Spirit, and that is the ultimate winning spirit. So because you got that spirit, even if this was a losing season and you felt like you were on a streak of loss after loss after loss, understand that it's another game. It's another season, and hold on to that 1 Peter 5:10. I think that's the scripture. I hope I'm quoting it right. I'll have it in the show notes, but know that, hey, it gets greater later, guys. All right. So that's it. That's it, y'all, for season 2. Woo! We did it, y'all. We did it. I will be back for season 3, like I said, late January, early February. In the meantime, grab your journals, pre-order those journals. And I love you guys. Remember, God puts you up on that good game. Why? Because he wants you to win. Have a safe holiday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to you and yours. Until next season, it's your girl, Kristen R. Harris, and I'm out. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of God Put Me Up on Game. Make sure you follow us on social media at God Put Me Up on Game and at Kristen R. Harris. We'll see you next week.